My neighbor is stalking and harassing me, and the cops are of no help. Apparently, a new person moved in below me sometime in December. I-23F was gone for most of December, so I had no idea until I got back home from celebrating the holidays. My first night back, I had a friend spending the night. I'll call her Clara. We weren't being too loud, but we were chatting and catching up. She went to her car to grab something, and an old man stopped to talk to her. I'll call him Richard. He asked her if we were throwing a party. She said no. He then said he kept hearing loud banging sounds, and that we needed to be more mindful of the people living below us. Okay, Clara got back and told me what happened and asked if I had spoken to Richard before. I told her I hadn't. Soon afterwards, he knocked on the door. So for some context, I'm neurodivergent. A man I don't know knocking repeatedly on my door late at night really freaked me out. I was also wearing pajamas. Because of this, Clara agreed to talk to him for me, which I was thankful for. He went off on her. He said he had been hearing banging sounds for weeks since he's moved in. He keeps hearing weights dropping. I don't lift weights. He hears things drop at midnight and 2 a.m. He even said that he could hear whenever I flushed the toilet. Creepy. Also, I hadn't been home in weeks. At one point during the conversation, my cat tried to escape, and I had to run over and grab him. This will be important later. Richard has left me alone for the past 2 weeks, though sometimes at night, while in bed, I would hear banging on the walls or floor. Unfortunately, he came back tonight. I decided I was going to tell him once and for all that I wasn't making noise. It didn't go well. I tried telling him that I'm not the one making noise, and he said, "Yes, you are. I hear sound, then I see you leave in the morning, and then I hear sound again when I see you come home. You drive type of car and color, right? What the F?" Okay, he's now admitted to watching me, and he knows which car is mine. And I honestly don't know what the F he is hearing in the morning other than me walking and putting on shoes. I'm not an early riser. I sleep as late as I can, then wake up, get dressed and leave. I'm not doing morning workouts. He also tried to catch me in a gotcha moment. He said, "Last time I was here, your lady friend said you couldn't come to the door because you weren't dressed, but I saw you come grab your cat." Yes, sir. She was correct. I was wearing pajamas, not clothing I wanted you to see me in. He kept going on about constant banging, saying he needed to be awake at 4 a.m. for dialysis and that he needed sleep. Then he finally left after saying he's not trying to be a jerk. I'm at a loss. I don't know what banging sounds he's talking about other than me walking. And complaining about me flushing the toilet? Seriously? My cat is 18 pounds, not obese, just massive frame, and he runs and jumps around when he gets zoomies. So I wonder if he's hearing him. Regardless, the apartment allows pets, and thunder is an AITA. I should be allowed to walk around in my own apartment and flush my damn toilet without worrying that I'll piss someone off. I will no longer answer the door if he shows up. But unfortunately, he's admitted to watching me, so he knows my schedule. If you don't want to put up with footsteps, animals, and toilet flushing, you should not move into a pet-friendly apartment complex. Comments. Character Tennis 241. Complain to the office about his harassment and stalking. Make a FU notebook where you write all of his interactions down. Date, time, what he says, and what you say. When he bangs floors while you are in bed. You may need all of this for office management to take action. You may need to file a police report for the stalking and harassment. OP. I did contact the police non-emergency line, and they have a record now if he tries to call the cops that he's been unreasonable with me in the past. The cop agreed that it was effing insane to complain about my toilet flushing. Also, yes, I have a noisy 18-pound cat. Several of my neighbors have 50-pound dogs. He's lucky to be below me. He can try explaining to Thunder to be quieter if he wants. But I've tried. Update. 14 days later. Hi everyone. I appreciated all the support I got for my last post about my neighbor, Richard. I wanted to give you all an update, but it might be a little disappointing, unfortunately. I called the office and told them about the situation, and they told me they were going to call him and tell him not to interact with me and to make any complaints through them. This seemed to improve things at first, but he unfortunately decided to start banging on the ceiling whenever he felt I was being too loud. At first, it wasn't that bad. 1 or 2 smacks randomly, easy enough to ignore. Like in the first post, several smacks occurred when I was lying in bed. Last night, he escalated it. It was around 10:11 p.m. I was walking around my apartment a little. I had a bad cord, and I was trying to find a different cord to replace it. He started smacking again. I ignored it, but he kept doing it and was slowly getting more aggressive. It was starting to freak me out a bit. At this point, I wasn't even moving anymore. I was just sitting at my desk. Then he got pissed and, full of force, punched the ceiling. I think I counted 7 times in a row. It was bad enough to make the place shake. I was really scared at this point, so I did what my mom and most of Reddit told me to do. I called the police. Unfortunately, they weren't very helpful. Here is how the conversation went. Me see cop. See? Has he threatened you in any way? No, not directly. He's been told not to knock on my door. And now he's being really aggressive by hitting the ceiling. I can't do anything if a crime has not been committed. The ceiling hitting is really scaring me. And he's admitted to watching me leave and come back before. Things like this are part of apartment living. His watching you is likely just him trying to figure out the source of the noise. I can talk to him if you want, but at that point he will know you called the police, and that might make things worse for you. I'm not saying you are making noise, but I've had to speak to my upstairs neighbors before too. You don't live below anyone, so it can be hard to understand. I do live below someone too, and I hear noises sometimes. Then you'll know what it's like. No, they make a sound, but it isn't bad, and I just ignore it. Like I said, I've had to speak to neighbors before too. Yeah, but your neighbors were probably actually making noise. At this point, I started to cry. Unfortunately, it just happens to me sometimes when I'm really stressed. I was just trying as hard as I could to keep it together to be able to speak. I know things like this can be frustrating. I can talk to him if you want. No, you just told me that would be a bad idea. See? I never said that. At that point, I just wanted the cop to go away. I told him to leave, but I asked him to let the record show that I felt unsafe in my own home. This morning, I contacted the office again and had a very interesting conversation. They told me they had spoken to him and had indeed told him to make any complaints through them and not talk to me. They also said that him watching me leave wasn't meant to make me feel threatened and that he never intended to follow me, but was an observation he brought up when I had tried to tell him I wasn't home when he was complaining about sound. I told the office that he had been complaining about sound from when I wasn't there. I had been gone for at least half the month of December. Well, apparently he told them I had had a friend over, and she had likely been making the noise when I was gone. Are you effing kidding me? Clara was there for a single night. He is legit making up stories in his head now to make things make sense. The office is trying to be a middleman in this situation, which I guess I understand. But it is aggravating since I know I'm not making loud banging sounds. I told the office about my current theory that the loud banging sounds are the heating system coming on. It would make sense for the heat to be more likely to come on when I enter the building and let in cold air. Correlation does not equal causation. The good news is that he is not allowed to bang on the ceiling like he's been doing. The office will be telling him to stop, and if he does it again, I will report him every single time. I will be keeping a log of everything. Sorry that this update probably isn't very satisfying. I'm very tired and shaken up, and the police department isn't helpful. It's a very lonely feeling. I understand everyone trying to be impartial, but it just makes me feel so defeated, like nobody believes me. Update. I wrote this all out yesterday, and in the time it took me to write it, he banged on the ceiling again, despite the landlord telling him that wasn't allowed. I called them again, and they said they would do something. Not sure what though. Comments. Cybermagatex. Keep reporting it every time. He is now harassing you. OP. The police said that it wasn't harassment. Peliofrums in a suit. Stick with it. Keep reporting it every time, and maybe invest in security cameras in your home to record moments of you not making any noise while he bangs on your floor. It seems that there is something wrong with him, so please be careful. He's not acting rationally. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.